Why 8 to 9 months can be a really tricky age to night wean from breastfeeding. Let's be honest, this is often the age where people start hearing things like, oh, are they still needing feeds through the night? Or, oh, they shouldn't need to be feeding anymore, they're big now. And this can be advice from reliable sources like GPs and paediatricians. And that's before we've even asked the neighbours and the relatives what they think. But these opinions are often based on one big assumption, and that's that the 8 to 9 month old baby is fully established on solids, eating 3 meals a day plus snacks. But the truth is, many are not. Some babies prefer to wear the food than eat it. Others are teething and it's too painful to put food in their mouths. They don't want things touching their gums. Others are just super distracted and more goes on the floor than in their mouths. So when daytime intake isn't predictable or reliable, it makes absolute sense that babies are still going to rely on their overnight calories from the breast. And this is where things can start to get really tricky. Breastfeeding overnight can be both incredibly helpful and completely exhausting. On one hand, it's the fastest, most effective way of getting your baby back to sleep in the night. It's like a superpower. But on the other hand, it can sometimes leave you wondering whether your baby is waking hourly for the breast and that perhaps it's the actual cause of the waking. Because really, that's what people will tell you, right? And this can leave breastfeeding parents feeling completely confused. And then there's another layer to this too. At 8 to 9 months, there's still a lot of uncertainty about what your baby might need versus what they simply prefer. Because that clarity tends to come later. As babies move into toddlerhood, their food intake becomes more consistent. Parents start to get familiar with big feelings and holding boundaries and supporting big emotions during the daytime first. And that's usually when things start to get clearer about overnight, what feels reasonable and what really doesn't. But at 8 to 9 months, it can still feel like really unfamiliar territory. Saying no to a feed in the middle of the night, especially when you're exhausted, and caring for the baby overnight largely on your own, can feel incredibly hard. Not because you're doing anything wrong, you're just in a really tricky in-between stage. Sometimes instead of pushing harder, it's easier to take a step back and ask yourself, could breastfeeding be part of the overnight solution for now? Because while resettling and getting babies to fall back asleep in another way might result in fewer night wakings, there's still no guarantee. And in some cases, trying to remove night feeds before the baby is ready, or mum for that matter, can make nights feel more complicated, more unsettled, and more exhausting than they need to be. Furthermore, you've got the noise from both ends. You've got the one set of people who are saying you just need to sleep train your baby, be tough, say no, cut feeds, job done. And then you've got the other camp who are saying lean into that need for connection, co-sleep with your boob out for however long it takes until they grow out of it. But I suspect neither of these extremes feels like a good solution to you. Like most of us, you probably prefer something somewhere in the middle. A way to improve sleep without ignoring your baby's needs, but also without feeling utterly depleted in the process. But knowing where to start can feel really unclear. And if this feels like the stage that you're in, firstly, don't worry, there is probably no rush at all to fix it or force an outcome. Maybe just start by noticing what your nights are actually asking of you right now. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Katie, your go-to infant sleep coach for mindful parenting and secure attachment, and I have conversations like this with parents all the time. Helping parents decide what they want and why they want it is a huge part of what I do. So often, improving a child's sleep involves little more than a few specific, strategic conversations. Nothing scary, just understanding the problem, reducing the friction, and taking small, manageable steps towards their goals. And if you're interested to know more, why not head to my website, take a look round, and I'll see you there.